April 29th, 1992, Los Angeles, California. This was the day of the LA riots. The entire city was plunged into a near week of chaos. Arson, looting, destruction of property, murder, gang-related shootouts, you name it. It was a dark chapter for the city. Before these riots, there was a growing problem of racial tension in LA between different racial communities. The more prominent rivalry was between the Black and Korean communities. This rivalry only became more inflamed due to the killing of Latasha Harlins by a Korean shopkeeper. The racial tension in the city, coupled with the rampant gang violence, Latasha's death, and the Rodney King case acquittal that sparked the LA riots was the foundation that began the real-life events of the movie I'll be talking about today. Freedom Writers. This is the name of the movie, and with every movie, there needs to be a main character. This is our main character, Erin Gruwell, played by Hilary Swank. Erin is passionate, confident, goal-driven. She's also starting her very first teaching job at the formerly illustrious Woodrow Wilson High School. Now, I say formerly because the school initiated a voluntary integration program to combat racial tensions in the community. To many of the school's teachers, this program ruined the school's positive reputation for its excellence in education, as most of the students were replaced by those who, according to the teachers, would be lucky to make it to graduation or would just stop showing up after a couple of months or so. However, this program is what gravitated Erin to work for the school. She believed that a good school environment is the best thing a student has to achieving a great future. But Erin would soon find out that helping these students would be far easier said than done. In this video, I will be analyzing Erin Gruwell's leadership style from the Freedom Writers movie and comparing her leadership tactics to the lessons taught in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written and taught by Steven R Covey.
Very elegant indeed.
Now, since I will be talking about various important scenes in this movie, there will be spoilers. Let's begin. Habit 1. Be proactive. Every leader must take responsibility for their actions and focus on what they can control. They must make the first move and take the initiative to lead their group to success. Imagine having a leader that spends most of their time on stuff that doesn't matter. One that spends too much time lazing around, playing video games or watching TikTok videos rather than helping you achieve success. No one is going to respect you as a leader if that is how you lead your team. By the end of the first act of the movie, Erin understands that getting these students on the right path is going to take a lot more than following the school's curriculum. She believes her students need new books, to be taken on field trips outside of Long Beach, broaden their horizons, and teach them more than the school is willing to let them. The problem is that the school refuses to give Erin the funding she needs, and her colleagues in the school board are against her unique teaching approach. So does Erin just give up and go back to teaching the kids the way the school wants her to? Nope. She takes the initiative. Firstly, to get the funding she needs, Erin gets 2 additional jobs, one as a part-time worker for a bra store, and the other as a concierge for the Marriott Hotel. After balancing the hard work of 3 different jobs, she's able to afford her entire class new books and even journals to write in. She even gets special permission from the school district chairman to take them on a trip to the Museum of Tolerance, with a nice Marriott dinner with Holocaust survivors as a reward. At this point in the film, Erin notices her students trust her better and are more academically invested in the material Erin is presenting them. Her leadership approach is beginning to work. This brings us to habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. In life, everyone has goals. Odds are, if you're watching this video, your goal is to graduate from school, get an amazing job, make lots of money, get a sweet house with a recording studio, a pool table, maybe a hot tub just for kicks. You get the idea. Well, that is the second habit in a nutshell. Think about a goal, a dream that you want more than anything in the world, and use that dream as a motivator to make your decisions. At the beginning of the movie, when she first meets her colleague Margaret Campbell, Erin states that she wants to be a teacher at Woodrow Wilson to help the students in the integration program achieve a positive future. She states that she could have gone to law school instead to be a lawyer, but she claims that once these kids end up in the courtroom, the battle's lost. At least as a teacher, she can give them a chance to make things different. And thus, she begins her job with the end in mind, to be a beacon of hope for her students. The third habit is put first things first. As the name entails, this habit focuses on time management and prioritizing things that are important. Since Erin is a school teacher, every day she must make time to grade schoolwork, read each of the students' daily journals, and plan social exercises, teaching material, and events for the class, all while working 2 different jobs and being married. This time management is incredibly impressive, especially since she makes additional time to help certain students like Ava, who later in the movie go against her original values and tells the truth about a shootout she witnessed in a courtroom, causing one of her fellow gang members to be convicted and lose all respect from her father and fellow gang members. Erin helps her out by agreeing to let her stay late to do her homework, and even offering to drive her to her aunt's house after school to avoid the long commute. All in all, a very generous showing of leadership and time management. Habit 4 is think win-win. This habit is about seeking mutual benefit from everyone involved in your interactions and building better, trusting relationships. It's a way of thinking, this isn't about you or me, it's about us. Now, as stated, Erin's class absolutely despised her at first and didn't respect her. Erin believed that the class should automatically show her respect as she is their teacher and an authority figure. But the other students don't see it that way. These kids believed that Erin had to be the kind of person that her class would respect, and then they would show her respect in return. To do this, she has the class do several exercises throughout the first and second act of the film to slowly gain their trust. One example is the line game, a trust-building exercise meant to get everyone to see that they have more in common with each other than they think. The majority of her students have the latest Snoop Dogg album, have seen Boys in the Hood, and on a more serious note, have lost friends or family to gang violence. This exercise was just the first step in a long journey to get that win-win mentality Erin seeks from her students. After this exercise, she announces a non-graded assignment. Every day, she wants everyone to write something inside of these journals. It could be a poem, their past, their thoughts on the day's class, literally anything. Erin states that if they want her to read her stories, they could put the journals inside of a closet that would be locked by the end of the day. The students are a bit reluctant, but one person steps up to grab a journal, followed by another, and another, and another, until everyone in the class has their own journal. By the end of the next class, her closet is filled with journals, showing her that the class trusts her enough to let her hear their stories. Now, I could go on and on about the numerous exercises that show Mrs. Gruwell gradually building trust with her classmates, but this video is getting long enough, so let's just move on to habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This habit is about listening effectively and empathetically to understand the point of view of other people before communicating your own views. I wanted to compare this habit to arguably one of, if not the most important scenes in the entire movie that happens near the end of the film's first act. During class, she notices her students laughing and giggling about something. This is due to a note being passed around the class. When she curiously takes the note to see what's so funny, she sees a racially offensive drawing of one of the black students in the class. Now, up until this point, Erin was lost as to how to handle her class. She's had to experience countless days of fighting amongst her class, a school riot within her first week, and disrespect from her students. But after witnessing this note, Erin decided she has had enough. She tells her class to put their workbooks away and gives them a reality check and a lesson on history. She tells her class that this drawing reminded her of a certain piece she saw at a museum, a piece of a Jewish man with a big nose that was printed in the newspapers by the most famous gang in history. One so notorious they made the gangs of Los Angeles look like a joke. This certain gang took over countries, wiped out millions of people, blamed all their problems on one specific group of people, the Nazis. It was the Nazis. And she said that drawings like the one in her hand are one of the things that starts a Holocaust, where if one race of people were all dead and gone, their life would be a whole lot better, and claims that that's how everyone in the room sees one another. This is the moment where conflict ensues. Emotions run high and conflicting viewpoints clash, with students claiming that Miss Gruelle has no respect for how they live or know the kind of struggles they have to go through. Others say they don't feel respected at all. Aaron, however, believes that to earn respect, you have to give it. One of the students vulgarly disagrees with her, saying that they don't know the person she is and that they won't just respect her solely for being a teacher. One of the students, Ava, even claims that nothing at school is going to help her with how horrible her life is, stating that the school forces her to teach her grammar and other studies. And for what? So she can go out into the real world and worry about getting killed in a drive-by? If that happens, nothing she does in school will matter, so what's the point of even taking her teaching seriously? Another student claims that once they die from living the gang life, they will be respected as they fought like warriors to protect their own. In response, Aaron tells them all that once they die, it won't matter because everyone in the real world will continue living on and that no one will respect or remember them because the kind of thing that they left behind in this world was the drawing in her hand. And this is where the room goes silent for a whole 10 seconds. Until a student asks her about the Holocaust she mentioned earlier, asking what that was. She asks her class to raise their hand if they knew what the Holocaust was. Only one hand in the room goes up. She then asks the class to raise their hand if they were ever shot at. Almost every hand in the room goes up. And this is the moment where Erin understands her students' struggle. She realizes that her classmates aren't the ones that need to change or show their teacher respect just because. Erin has to change the curriculum itself, make her class a place where everyone can get along, a place where they can be put on the path to a better future and become better people in the process. This is the moment in the film where Erin's fight to save her students truly begins. Then we have habit 6, synergize. This habit focuses on the importance of working collaboratively with others to achieve better outcomes than those one would make if they tackled the same task alone. In other words, teamwork. A habit where Erin displays actions toward this habit is just over 1 hour and 21 minutes into the movie. At this point in the film, Miss Gruelle has successfully earned the trust of her students, and everyone in the class treats each other like a family. They've also begun to improve their grades and are enjoying their book assignments. One of these books is The Diary of a Young Girl, which is the story of Anne Frank. Erin brings up an idea from one of her students where for a project, the class should write letters to a woman named Miep Gies, who was the one that sheltered Anne Frank and her family from the Nazis. However, the students have a better idea. Instead of just writing letters to Miep, why not have her come to the school and speak to the class? Now at first, Erin was iffy on the idea due to how expensive it would be, how she lives in Europe, and how travel might be a factor due to her being elderly, but the class decided that if all they needed was money, why not put together a fundraiser or two to get the money they need? Erin would agree and put the plan into action. Erin reached out to the Anne Frank Foundation to put together the event. She also reached out to several Long Beach restaurants to put together a bake sale and a dance event, with all the students pitching into the effort. The fundraisers were a smashing success, despite the negative reception from her fellow colleagues, like Margaret Campbell. It took some time, effort, and a lot of planning, but eventually, Gruelle was able to raise the money she needed, have her students meet their hero in the flesh, and have her tell her story. And all of this was possible through Erin and the synergized efforts of her students. Lastly, we have habit 7, sharpen the saw. Wellness is important. It's always crucial to take care of your personal health, both physical and mental. Take a vacation, spend some time with friends, take up a new hobby, eat out at the new Longhorn Steakhouse that opened up down the street. You know, live it up. All work and no play can cause a person to have their saws dulled, as Covey would put it. As such, the main message for this habit is to simply take care of yourself and enjoy life in between the hard times of your busy schedule, as a happy, healthy, stress-free leader is an effective leader. Despite her incredibly packed schedule, there are moments in this film where Erin has these saw-sharpening moments. Like here where she goes out to eat at a nice restaurant with her father and husband, or here where she decides to bake chocolate chip cookies, or here when she's dancing and having a good time with her students at the dance-off fundraiser to fund Meep Gee's visit to America. These were the 7 habits for being a highly effective person and a good leader, and Erin Gruwell, through her hard work, sacrifice, and time management, has led her class to greatness and became the leader they needed.